the Mets' big signing over the week, Kodai Senga, has officially joined the New York Mets. 5 years, $75 million, coming over from the NPB in Japan. He throws hard. He has a nasty forkball. This guy is a stud, and it's a great signing for the New York Mets. Now, the story that I do have from being up at Driveline is my friend that was showing me around up there. We were talking about Kodai, and because I knew, he's been up there to Driveline, and I know they know a lot about him. So before the Mets even signed him, I was like, hey, is this guy the real deal? Mm-hmm. Is he going to be a stud? And he goes, yes. He can throw hard, but that it doesn't play like a super plus fastball, but he has a forkball that grades as the best forkball that my buddy has ever seen. And he works in baseball. He works at Driveline. He played in Major League Baseball. He played in Japan. He said it's the best forkball that he has ever seen. Okay, so that's a good sign. And if you're at Driveline, where all they do is grade pitches, and somebody's saying this is the
one of the greatest ones I've ever seen.
It's a big deal. So Kodai Senga coming over, that forkball that he throws, that is so nasty, that they talk highly about, that we see right here in the wall if you're watching. It is known in Japan as the ghost.
Ooh.
I want a pitch called the ghost.
Yeah.
How nasty
because no one sees it.
do you have to have a pitch for it to be known as the ghost? Are you kidding me? That's just great. So the Mets are getting Kodai Senga. They're getting a pitcher that can top out close to 103 miles an hour, and they're getting a pitcher that throws a pitch known as the ghost. That's pretty nasty. So he was nasty coming over from Japan, 11 years over there in the NPB with the Hawks. He was 87-44, a 2.59 ERA, and last year he was 11-6 with a 1.94 ERA. 156 strikeouts in 144 innings, more strikeouts than innings pitched, which is always a good sign. So I really like this for the Mets. I think if he is what we're expecting, I think he's a 1, maybe a 2 guy for a lot of teams in Major League Baseball. But for this New York Mets team, he's going to slide in there at that number 3 spot. What a great pickup.
Which is crazy. This is great for the Mets, not only because they just picked up a great pitcher, but they just picked up a whole new fan base in Japan and a whole bunch of advertising opportunities. As we saw when the Angels got Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this is a brilliant marketing, not just for the team. Obviously, it's great for the team to have a player of this caliber and have a pitcher like this, but to bring in that Japanese fan base to the Mets franchise on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
When you get a pitcher like this, who is a star over there, this is big.
Yeah.
This is huge. We know, obviously, Steve Cohen and the Mets are not afraid to spend money. This might have been their biggest steal of this free agent signing and acquiring over the last couple of weeks, because they're going to get some great payback for this signing and for their money. A lot of bang for your buck with this one.
You mentioned the payroll.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just become so abundantly clear that Steve Cohen just doesn't care.
No.
Before the Kodai Senga signing, the Mets were past the top tax threshold, the top luxury tax threshold. They had already,
which is anything over $293 million. Right. They'll have to pay a 90% luxury tax. Do you know where they're at right now?
Right. Yes. So this signing, the Kodai Senga signing, they were already past it, right? Yeah. So if they were going to sign him or anybody else, they were going to have to pay, they as in Steve Cohen, a 90% tax on that. So you sign Kodai Senga for $75 million over 5 years. Guess what? 90% on that. If it was $100 million signing, you're paying $90 million in taxes.
Yes,
which is insanity.
Yes.
So the Mets currently are set up to pay $414 million
Yeah.
$997,666 in real payroll and tax penalties next season.
But that's including the luxury tax,
Yeah.
because their payroll before the luxury tax, highest in Major League Baseball history at $345 million, right around there. So the number you said is just the extra that they are paying in luxury tax. Anyone that they signed after they signed your brother, which was quite a few players to name in, Nimmo, Quintana, Robertson, and Senga, all of those counted towards the luxury tax. Like, when you put that number, it's hard to fathom.
It's truly wild. And just the tax bill alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Just the tax bill for Steve Cohen.
Yeah.
Is $75 million.
Yep.
Which is higher than 6 teams' payroll in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Uncle Steve just does not care.
No, see, I take this as Uncle Steve is committed to winning.
Oh,
and he will do
agree.
whatever it takes to win. And Met fans got to be over the moon. You got to think about it. Seats are going to be filled. Games are going to be sold out. You're going to get prime time, like, national spots throughout the entire season. You're going to sell so many jerseys, merchandise. You got to spend money to make money. And this move is such a power move by Steve Cohen, but I love every bit of it.
It is absolutely look. He is like the 19th richest man in the world.
The richest MLB owner too.
Oh yeah, by far the richest MLB owner. He has tons of money, and this has become a passion project for him. He wants to win. That's what he wants to do. He loves the game of baseball. He wants to win, and he's willing to do it. And does Steve Cohen have more money than every other owner? Yes. But are all these other owners billionaires? Yes.
Majority.
There's all but a handful that are billionaires. So spend like you're enjoying it. Spend like you're wanting a Major League Baseball team to win. That's what baseball needs. That's what sports needs, is an owner coming in that is worth billions of dollars saying, yeah, this is a passion project for me. I want to win, and I want to win at all costs, no matter what it takes. And that's okay. I feel like so many owners come in and fans just justify it by saying, well, yeah, these guys are billionaires for a reason. This is a business venture. Well, you're owning a sports team, and I feel like there's an obligation to a fan base to put a winning product out on the field. Like, you can't be doing what the Oakland A's are doing when you're worth $1 billion. And we'll get into more of the A's in a little while. But it's so frustrating. But Steve Cohen is committed to winning. He wanted to own a baseball team because he loves baseball and he wants to win, and he is doing that. They created a tax threshold just for him, the Steve Cohen tax, which he had to say about that. It's better than having a bridge named after you.
Oh my God. I love that so much. But you have to think about it. These billionaires that are owning these sports teams, this isn't their main source of revenue. This is their passion projects, as you mentioned. And most of the time, they're ending the year on a loss. This is their write-off for all of their other businesses. Like, that's the craziest thing when you think about it. They're not making money until they sell the team.
Yep.
You're just building the value of the team by, like, when you buy a house, you want to put money into the house. You want to redo the house, lift it up. So when you sell it, the equity goes up, and then you make money on the house. That's what you do. You got to build a franchise, and to get it there, you got to put the time and effort and the money into that franchise.
Right.
He's doing that.
And there's nothing wrong with living in that house for a little while and having fun while doing it. And
decades.
That's what he's doing.
Live in the house for decades.
He owns a team. He wants to win with it, and he's going to leave it more valuable than he bought it for. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Go win. Uncle Steve is doing that. Well, he's not winning yet, but he's putting a product out on the field that is definitely a winning product. And he added to that.
Yeah, he did.
He added to that with Brandon Nimmo. 8 years, $162 million. He just keeps adding to this team. But I really like Brandon Nimmo a lot. I like the signing. I think on the surface, if you just look at baseline numbers, right? Brandon Nimmo's not jumping off the paper saying, "Oh, he's 8 years, $162 million." Come on, like what are we doing? No. Brandon Nimmo is a stud. I love this signing. Yes, 269 career average, 385 on base percentage. This guy gets on base a ton. He is the heart and soul of the New York Mets team. He's always hustling. He plays great defense. He's in the 90th percentile in outfield defense, which is a huge improvement from where he was when he came into the league. He's a great leadoff hitter. He puts pitches in pitchers. I mean, this guy is a very valuable piece to now the New York Mets, but would have been to anybody. And I like the signing a lot, and it's just more money being spent.
I mean, when you look at the team that the Mets are putting together right now, the amount of money that they're spending, biggest payroll in MLB history, at this point, you have to ask yourself, it's got to be World Series or bust. You got to get there. If you don't get to the World Series with this roster, I think it's personally a failure. You got to get there. Obviously, you want to win it, but you have the rotation, you have the lineup. You're spending all the money in the world to make it happen. It's here. Now you just gotta complete the mission. Yeah,
I agree with you. I do think I think this team needs to win a National League championship and get to the World Series with a payroll like this. It kind of becomes like, of course, like what is this all for? You're not doing this to get into the playoffs.
No,
that's not the goal. Sure, maybe it has been in years past because we've heard, well, the Mets, they always met. Well, no. Okay.
No, you can't met with this.
We gotta put that time behind us. They got to the playoffs last year. They won over 100 games. Steve Cohen is now a good bit into his time there in New York, and he's continued to spend
his investment.
And if you were to sit here right now and say, "Hey, Steve, your team's going to make the playoffs next year. You pumped up about it?" He's going to go, "Hell no. We better be in the World Series. I'm spending enough money to do that." So this is a team on paper that is more than capable of getting there. They're extremely talented. They have a rotation that added Justin. Yeah. It added Quintana. It added Kodai Senga. So now look at that rotation that is now undoubtedly, in my opinion, better than last year.
Yep.
Because last year you had a three at the top of the rotation of DeGrom, Scherzer, and who am I missing? Chris Bassett. Right? But look, this rotation now, you have Justin, you have Max, you have Kodai Senga in a 3 spot, you have Jose Quintana at 4, you have Carlos Carrasco at a 5. This rotation is insane.
Not to mention one of the best closers in the game.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who they gave an unprecedented contract to at the beginning of the offseason.
Yep.
So you pair those guys with the best closer in the game of baseball.
Edwin Diaz. I know. Now the other question is, because now they have the highest payroll in baseball, we're all talking about it, it's World Series or bust. What kind of pressure does this add to the team? Now they do have amazing veteran support, obviously, starting at the manager position with Showalter. I think he's a great leader on this team. We talked about it. He might have been the best offseason acquisition last year.
Last year, yeah.
But now you add your brother, who is the reigning Cy Young winner and veteran on this pitching staff, along with Scherzer. And now you have, it's just, can they keep it together? Will the pressure get to them? That's the biggest question.
I think the pressure more so comes of like the hump that they need to get over as a team. I don't think you sit out there on the field and say, man, our owner's spending so much money. That's a lot of pressure on us. I think it becomes, hey, we've found a way over the last decade to either not be good or fall apart when we are good. Now we have the team more than capable of getting over that hump. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think they're more than capable of doing it. I sat here, what was it, a week ago when Justin signed with the Mets, and you asked me, are the Mets the team to beat in the National League East? And I said, as it currently sits, I don't think so. Like I still think, look, the Mets to that point had lost DeGrom and added Justin. Does that immediately make them better than a team that has won the NL East the majority of the times in the last, 5 years or whatever it is at this point? I didn't think so. But I said a couple of things. I said, one, I know for a fact the Mets are not done.
Yeah.
This team is a team that you will not be seeing the same roster on opening day that you saw a week ago. I knew that. I said that. And it didn't take me long to be proven right. Steve Cohen went out and had plenty. Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.